Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Lauren Maffeo, CDO Magazine editorial board member and author of the book Designing Data Governance from the Ground Up, which is published by the Pragmatic Programmers. I have the pleasure of speaking with Matthew Cawsey, who is the product marketing and strategy lead at Stibo Systems, based in the United Kingdom. So thank you all for joining us today for this conversation, and especially you, Matthew. Thank you for joining us today to speak to us about your work in data governance and specifically master data governance. When we talk about what success looks like and how to avoid mistakes, that leads to the question of how you get that essential buy-in which you need in order to scale data governance and overcome that perception problem. How can CDOs gain the buy-in that they need both from sponsors and their colleagues for master data governance initiatives so that they not only get the people side of collaboration, but they also get the resources and technology that they need? Because that's another thing I see is that the data infrastructure is not nearly invested in to the degree that it should be, especially in this age of AI.
No, I agree. And I mentioned earlier, this isn't going to come free. You're going to need the right people. You're going to need some technology, and you're going to need a lot of investment in human capital and time to get this over the line. But I touched on it before. Gaining executive buy-in simply requires changing the mindset around that word data in data governance and demonstrating the business value of master data governance. Your chief exec doesn't care about individual data policies. He cares that your competitors can get products launched from your manufacturers on the shelf 3 days faster than you can. So how do you demonstrate that? You've got to tie data governance to business value, and whatever that may be in terms of operational efficiency. Doing less rework or reduce compliance risk, perhaps, or your BI and analytics and decision making, is more accurate. You can actually answer simple questions like who are our top 5 customers, which sounds simple, but people can't do it. So CDOs, you can secure a resource if you get that alignment between governance and strategic objectives, and that develops a compelling business case. And I mentioned earlier, you need to be able to establish the ROI of data governance, and you'll do that with business case, not a data case. So, and you can get help with this. There is potentially in organizations a lack of skill in doing this. To get help from your MDM partner, like I said, we not only implement our MDM technology, but we have business advisory services and practices to go along with that. So get your MDM partner or your systems integrator or your implementer. They all have great business advisory practices, and their reputation depends upon you as a customer's success. So that they will help you build the business case for getting this across the line, I'm sure.
Excellent. I think it's fair to say that we are firmly in not just a cloud-based solutions world, but now increasingly also a cloud-native world. I'm even seeing in the broad government space in the United States at various levels more native CI/CD pipeline teams within organizations, which was unheard of even a few years ago.
Yeah.
So we're seeing much more emphasis on the cloud and how to utilize it for cost and quality. With the increasing adoption of these cloud-based solutions, how do you think master data governance is going to adapt to this evolving data environment and architecture as it lives in the cloud?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I suppose given my history in data management and MDM, it feels kind of strange that question is still there. I 10 years ago, probably doing customer MDM and talking to particularly financial services customers, the idea of having customer data stored in the cloud was an absolute no-no. It had to be on their own infrastructure, it had to be in their own secure data centers. And I was actually working at one time at Oracle, who undoubtedly had the most secure data center on the planet, far greater than any bank would have had of their own, but they still needed some reassurance. And now actually cloud is, the basic standard. It's not new anymore. Organizations are all putting their CRM, their customer data in the cloud. And we talked about mesh and integration and open APIs. So there's seamless connection now from the cloud. So I actually think it's more a case of people that are operating on premise will shortly be missing out on opportunities because it's harder for them to keep up with updates. We do, continual update release schedule because we were SaaS, sort of cloud native, and we take care of that for people. So that part of data governance, just in terms of keeping operations up to date and patched and accurate, it is clearly important. There's a huge amount of data out there now which is not internal. So just being able to seamlessly connect to third-party data sources is hugely important. And that's just much easier if you've got an open platform. And of course, obviously, one of the concerns about cloud is, we need it to be robust, it needs to be secure, it needs to be scalable. Yeah, of course. And then the largest organizations on the planet, including Stibo Systems, are hosting their platform on cloud. We host our software on Microsoft Azure platform, and there's SLAs for scaling and handling large volumes of data. This is a long way, I guess, of answering your question. Tech isn't the issue. Having MDM platforms and master data governance in the cloud isn't the issue. It's about getting your data governance policies and your processes in place. And yes, there are unique challenges of managing some data in the cloud. And I'm thinking particularly of data sovereignty. That's the big one. Can you host European personal data outside of Europe, for instance? Yeah, so there are definitely considerations in terms of sovereignty. But that just needs to be part of your data governance policies and processes. And when you're going to put data in a cloud, you need to understand where it's going to be stored. And these aren't issues just from an MDM perspective, but your head of risk or compliance or your chief data officer should be whoever is the responsible data owner in your organization has to be asking these questions anyway. It's tech won't stop it. You just need to know the answers as part of your policies and then take care of it. So yeah, there are security and privacy concerns. I feel like they're going away. Sovereignty is an issue, but it needs to be general business policy. It's not a tech issue.
Yep. I agree. It's not a tech issue first and foremost because the culture you have determines that the tech you buy determines the tech you buy. And so to conclude this conversation for now, we talked a lot about data quality and how essential it is to both data governance and master data governance efforts. What does quality in the context of master data management look like to you?
It's huge. And as I mentioned before, data quality has been, very central to a large part of my career. Without giving, an hour-long lecture about it, it comes down to those 7 key facets of data quality, or 6 or 5, depending on whose particular website you look at. Do you know where your data is coming from? Do you understand? Do you all agree on its meaning? Do you all agree on what it's being used for? Those are the sort of the external things. And then, is it accurate? Is it timely? Is it complete? Is it unique? Those those various facets. And there are other compliance reasons as well to be concerned about this that you then need to apply data quality rules to. So if you have KYC regulations in financial services, or just as an example, then you need to be able to set up data quality rules to meet that. Establishing quality standards and processes enhances your regulatory compliance, and not only mitigates operational risk, but your brand. Your brand and your reputation is at risk. And we've seen this a lot recently, and certainly something that's become quite big at Stibo Systems is the topic of sustainability. That's become a very hot topic. we've been advocating for a while that this is just another need for data governance, because managing and reporting on sustainability data means collecting an immense amount of data about your products, ingredients, your packaging, waste and disposal, the CO2 footprint of transport, ethical claims of, are you dealing with ethical supply chains? Are the manufacturing processes reasonable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is another huge tranche of additional data attributes that organizations will have to collect, manage, govern, clean, and share. And these are the major principles of MDM. So sustainability data, as an example, will require strong MDM discipline and governance. And then that just ensures, I mentioned reputational risk, but will investors invest in you? This ensures that the items that you sell and the claims that you make, because of those data quality processes, those claims are supported by unequivocal, trusted, accurate data. That's the evidence you need. You'll be asked for evidence from regulators, from scrupulous consumers, from investors, from potential trading partners. They're asking for evidence of your sustainability credentials, either your internal ones or your compliance with external regulations like UN SDG or SASB or whatever. There's hundreds of different standards. To give that evidence, you need data, and that data needs to be governed and cleaned and qualified correctly. So that was another long answer, Lauren. Sorry.
No worries. That's what we're here for. So this has been a great conversation with you, Matthew Cawsey of Stibo Systems. Thank you so much for speaking with CDO Magazine today. Where can listeners and viewers find you to connect with you further if they wanted to learn more about anything that we discussed in this interview?
Yeah, sure. I always enjoy getting on conversations with other people about this topic because it's different. So yes, of course, you can find me on LinkedIn, obviously, as Matthew Cawsey. Sure, you'll stick my spelling of my name in this somewhere. And of course, at Stibo Systems, where we run a multi-domain software practice, and we're a vendor of multi-domain software with data governance. So yeah, you'll find me there. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me on email, mcaw@stibosystems.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Matthew, for taking the time to speak with us today, and best of luck on your data governance journey.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time, Lauren. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And good luck,
Likewise.
everyone.